The Port Arthur massacre still haunts Australians. 16 years after 35 people were shot dead at this historic site in Tasmania, 2 children were among those killed. 28-year-old Martin Bryant never gave a reason for his slaughter and is now serving multiple life sentences. What followed was a collective expression of grief, then anger, then a clamour for action. The Prime Minister John Howard recognised and responded to the public's revulsion.
I'd always had a strong view that Australians shouldn't have guns unless they really needed them for their work or genuinely for their self-protection while they were farmers.
Just 12 days after the shootings, Australia's state and federal governments agreed to enact sweeping new gun controls. Rapid-fire rifles were banned. All individuals had to register their weapons. But crucially, the government went further. It began a gun buyback scheme, where it purchased weapons at market value, all paid for by a temporary increase in the country's Medicare levy. The results were remarkable. In all, around 700,000 weapons were handed in, at a cost of about $300 million. In the 18 years before the Port Arthur massacre, there were 13 mass shootings. In the 16 years since, there haven't been any. Experts on gun use say America can learn from Australia's experience.
The key in Australia was to have those sensible gun controls alongside the gun buyback, and it's a matter of getting that first gun out of the households. It'd be so terrific if the United States could do that, a country which every day loses 25 people to gun homicides and 45 people to gun suicides.
But others say scaling up Australia's experience to meet America's challenge may not be realistic for President Obama.
To do something like Australia did, which would involve, on the same scale as Australia, would involve confiscating or buying back 40 million firearms. Now, Americans simply, I cannot see Americans doing that.
In the 16 years since the Tasmania massacre, the risk of dying from gunshot in Australia has halved, with 200 lives a year saved. The country is not gun or crime free, but that day it learned a tragic lesson that it has sought not to inflict on its citizens again. Duncan Kennedy, BBC News, in Sydney.